Hey guys! So this week on Harlequins First Impressions, we're looking at the game Axis and Allies and Zombies. This game, set in 1941, is a territory control game. So let's find out who will win. I'm rooting on the zombies. Hey folks, so here we have our copy of Axis and Allies and Zombies. This game is a reinterpretation of the Axis and Allies formula that has been around for over 50 years. I've not played the others, but it must be doing something right to succeed for so long and for so many editions. In this version of Axis and Allies, there's a slight alternate reality twist to the game. I mean, there's always a slight bit of alternate reality, otherwise there wouldn't be a game. But hopefully you get what I mean. So at the start of the game, it's around 1941 and a zombie plague has arisen, threatening to spread like wildfire, while the factions, the only hope at stopping them, are busily trying to kill one another. Will any one side emerge triumphant, or will the winners be huddling in their hovels, trying to survive, while the dead own the earth? As always, let's start by having a look at the box art. So on the front of the box is a very gruesome but fitting representation of the game, with plenty of historical figures and moments being represented. Zombies are on either side, and one pride of place in the middle, so you know this isn't a typical Axis and Allies game. There's some weight to the box. Might not be Caverna's weight, but still pretty substantial. Yeah, well that's a nice grim catchphrase. Nations fall, the dead rise. Lovely. Flipping the box over, we see this game is for 2 to 5 players, and is 90 to 180 minutes. Looking at the back of the box, I get the feeling it will be longer than that, but I have been wrong before. Here we have a list of contents, plus a sneak peek at some of the zombies. And here's a nice big photo of the game in progress. We can see some cool battleships, and tanks, and dudes wearing ruffs, ships with planes on them. Very cool. Do you invest in tanks or chainsaw tanks? Does this question need to be asked? I mean, seriously? If you're not going Ash from Evil Dead on people, then are you even living? Anyway, there's a bit of fluff, and that about covers the back of the box. Oh, and the game is aimed at people 12 and up, just in case you were wondering. Okay, let's get to opening. As a side note, I love the quote at the top of the box. Fighting a world war is hard enough without a zombie curse. I feel like there's an Archer meme in there somewhere, but I can't think of it. Anyway, let's get this box open. So what have we got here? A couple of decks by the look of it, and our usual box greeter, the rulebook. Looks like there's some tokens attached to it. Let's open this and find out what it's all about. Ooh, this rulebook feels weirdly nice. It's not glossy, so it has that proper paper old book feel. I like it. Sorry, that's weird. So there's some kind of appendix on the back. I'm sure that'll make sense later. A quick flick through shows us that this is a detailed rulebook with lots of reference pictures, and some nice touches like newspaper clippings and military documents scattered throughout to give you some extra flavour. Always appreciate that extra effort. Very nice. I'll have a mooch through later. So what's this then? Is it some kind of play sheet? Maybe. Doesn't look like any reference sheet I know of. Never mind. We'll figure it out later. Next up we have the first of the token sheets. Looks like these are player aids. They have the player set up on one side and some reminders on the other, so it makes sense. Let's punch one out. Well, I was worried that these aids would be flimsy, but these are of good thickness, nice and strong. The second sheet here has more counters on. Oh, and they have skulls. Zombie faces? Don't know what they're all about. Counting something, I'm guessing. Here's the board. Oh Jesus, this is thick. Oh, sweet Bahama Mamas, this is a full world board. I don't know why I'm surprised. I think it's the size. Still, this is a damn big board. Very pretty too. Handy little chart here. This board is amazing. I love how certain countries are lumped together. Boot country is now Southern Europe. Portugal now owns Spain. France? Never heard of it. West Europe, mate. Awesome stuff. Right, let's stop mocking history and design choices and look at the rest of the box. Holy moly, there's a lot of stuff in here. Okay, gotta start somewhere. Let's start with good old cards. These ones say 1942. I wonder if you can play across the years. Quickly open these. Okay, so these are good quality cards. Just as well, because I'd hate to have to sleeve all of these. Who am I kidding? I love sleeving cards. But it should save you some pennies, not to sleeve these. Desperate times, desperate times, desperate times. I'm getting a theme here. Well, these cards aren't emblazoned with artwork, and without playing the game I have no idea what they do, so I won't show too much as it will be boring. So, next deck! These ones don't have a year on them, so do you start with these or end with them? Don't know. Frustratingly, these look very similar to the others, and I still haven't got a clue about them. This does not make for an interesting unboxing. Give me some artwork, people! Okay, let's pop these back and look at something else. What have we here? Money? Has monies for me, please? This note represents 1 million labour hours of industrial production. Industrial production certificate? Can't I just have like $1 million instead? Oh, it's not legal tender. And it has blood on it. This is bloody useless. Let's open this then. Ooh, the blood patterns are in different paces. That's a nice touch. And we have 1s, 5s, and 10s. It's thicker than Monopoly Bunny, so that's something at least. Let's pop these down and have a look at something else. So what are these discs then? Let's get them open and have a look. So these are the ruffs the guy was wearing on the back of the box. Fashion statement or useful item? I guess we'll never know. Well, actually, I'll figure it out in a bit. But I won't tell you guys. Anyways, I'll distract you with dice! Yes, yes, dice. Dice, no one can resist dice, yes. Okay, the zombie getting his head blown off isn't attractive. But more dice! Dice, dice, dice! These ones are weird. 3 blank sides. An A, a D, and another A? Weird. Pretty though. Next! So we have little planes, little birds, dude with candle on his head, teeny tanks, and teeny aircraft carriers. All pretty detailed for such small miniatures. Next bugger! Oh, some teeny zombies. Aren't they cute? Let's get a soldier zombie in here. This cutie is Bob. Say hello, Bob. Oh, go back to bed, Bob. So I'm guessing the rest are the same but different colours. Actually, these might all be different. Let's open them and have a look. So we have a tiny Wayne, a tiny Titanic, tiny Bomber, tiny aircraft carrier, tiny Sherman? I think it's a tiny Sherman. Oh my god, super tiny plane! So these are all very similar, probably just country specific alternatives, so I'm going to fast forward a bit and I'll show you photos later so you can see them all laid out nicely. Right, let's go and have a look at the game and I'll get back to you. Right, so we played this game through the other day, so what did we think? So let's start off where you start off. The setup for this game takes quite a while if I'm honest, as it is set up the same whether for 2 or 5 players, so allow plenty of time to put out all of your teeny tiny ships. If you're playing with less than 5 players, then the players may have to pull double duty to play as 2 or even 3 factions. This isn't too difficult or overly complex, as each faction stays independent, but it is worth bearing in mind if you're easily confused by dealing with multiple elements. The rules are very comprehensive, yet simple, which means that while I would recommend a read through before playing, it's not as intimidating as it first seems. The core mechanics are very simple. Moving and fighting, rolling dice for each unit, needing to roll equal to or under to destroy an enemy, resolving casualties, and so on. Yet detailed enough to create some realistic gameplay of storming the beaches or fierce fighting over a hotly contested industrial complex. The theme is very authentic. Factions have realistic starting positions, and types and quantities of units given the previous battles that had taken place prior to this time period, 1941, having to use transports to get your troops to places, because good old Earth isn't a beautifully designed, fairly balanced board and there are awkward sections to try and get your reinforcements to, is fun, and when you pull off a successful ground assault in an area you've been quietly moving towards, it's very rewarding. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the zombies. What are they adding to this already beloved and established game? I have to say I was skeptical, but in actuality it adds a lot. If I use the classic game Risk as an example, when you attack a region, there is no penalty to attacking over and over with your force. Well, beyond casualties. But in this game, your casualties come back and fight against you. Zombies attack randomly in the conflict and might help you, which is great. However, if you want the area you're fighting over, then you're going to have to take on them and clear them out too. Or the opposite can happen. in that you can get zombies decimating your own force. But then the victorious defender has a mess of zombies to deal with. You can even use this to your advantage by storming into a country with the intention of taking casualties, just to deliberately bug out after a round of combat and leave a care package of zombies in enemy territory to destabilise the region. This needs to be done sparingly though, because zombies can take over countries, and if too many countries are overrun, then a zombie apocalypse happens and you all lose. For this to happen, the zombies need 25 points worth of countries in total, which sounds like a lot in the beginning. However, you quickly realise it's not as many as you first thought. Through this inclusion of zombies, a weird cooperative element is added to the game, as sometimes both sides realise that they could win, but if they don't deal with the zombies, then no one will. So a bargain is struck to deal with them before once again resuming conflict. The component quality is very good, with the attention to detail on the miniatures being very high, especially when you consider that you don't really spend a long time looking at them. It's not a miniatures game after all, and you're more often focused on where to attack or defend than the tiny models that are on the board. The cards, dice, and card components are all also very good, with the common theme being high print quality and sturdy design. There's one last gem that this game provides. Remember that big deck I opened at the beginning of the video, the one with 1942 written on it? Well, that's not used in the base game of Axis and Allies and Zombies. But if you own Axis and Allies 1942 and don't want to play the more streamlined rules of this version of Axis and Allies, then you can take the 1942 deck, the zombie miniatures and dice, and add them to your copy of Axis and Allies 1942, creating a more complex and detailed version of Axis and Allies and Zombies that is set in a slightly later time period. This means that this game is both a game in and of itself and an expansion, which is brilliant value for money, especially when you consider that this game is only £35 at Harlequins price. The one niggle that I have is that the box quotes a 90 to 180 minute time frame, to which I say for shame. Maybe if you're all experts at the rules and you play so regularly that you can play the first turns out super quick, then sure, maybe that's achievable. But it took us nearly double that before we were all eaten by zombies. This game takes maybe half an hour just to set up and probably 4 to 6 hours to play through if you're not rushing, which I certainly don't think is a negative. After all, there are plenty of games out there like Twilight Imperium which are well loved and have significant game length. But it is something to bear in mind. You'll most likely need a Saturday or Sunday afternoon rather than a Wednesday evening to play through this game, but you most definitely should set aside that time, as this is a great game and very worthy of it. So with all that being said, it's time to announce the winner of last week's giveaway of Chronicles of Crime plus its VR module. And the winner is Graham Hughes! Congratulations, bud! If you can please contact the shop, then we can arrange to get your prize to you. On that note, it's time to bring this video to a close, so if you enjoyed it, please like, share and subscribe, and if you ring that notification bell, that will help keep you up to date with our latest videos. Any of you lovely people who do share the Facebook link for this video will be entered into a raffle to win this copy of Axis and Allies and Zombies, so you too could be a winner. Until next time though folks, thanks for watching.